Hello and welcome to this tutorial on how to do 3-frame phase walking. So I've been employing this method for a few weeks now, but I haven't realized that this was a sort of novel discovery in terms of phase walking. So if you don't know already, phase walking was a 4-frame trick. So in 4 consecutive frames, you needed to be frame perfect. Now, I'm just going to be showing you how I go about doing the 3-frame phase walking. Now, you can apply this to both N64 and to WiiU. I would recommend using an N64 controller for this, as that's basically what I've been doing. In terms of using the N64 controller on WiiU, I use a RAFnet adapter that goes from the N64 port to a Wiimote. Yeah, so let's discuss a little bit what's going on with this trick. So first and foremost, the thing you need to understand is that you want to get at your phase angle, which I am right now, go into C up, and then on the frame that you get out of C up, I want you to prep your thumb and bring it slightly back. So technically, the first frame of this trick is getting out of C up, but I want you to think about this as the 0th frame. I want you to think about the actual first frame as being your prep frame, where you slightly hold down. And then after that, you are going to do an explosive flick with your thumb. Now, you want to make sure that you actually either get close to or hit this notch because of the nature of this trick. If you don't do that, or you go too far down on the first frame, then the Kong will not accelerate through the wall. This is because there is a particular maximum and minimum of the joystick's position in which this trick will work on 3 consecutive frames. Now let me just show you exactly how I go about this. I may not get this first try, or second try, or third try, but I want you to know that this is absolutely a consistent method. The hardest part about this trick, honestly, is determining the timing that you want to use. So let me start fresh. I won't say anything, and I'll just go back into factory lobby, and I will make a sound. I'll just show you exactly what I'm doing, and then I'll explain it. Alright, that took a few tries. So essentially what I was doing, I was flicking like this. I did my prep frame and then flicked. And then once I heard that notch sound, I pressed Z. And I continue holding Z. If you do not continue holding Z, you'll see the Kong partially go through the wall and then you'll get pushed out. Either that or your Kong will not move at all, because you will not have given a sufficient amount of forward momentum. Because essentially what you're doing is this. So if I don't press hard enough, if I don't do a hard enough flick, DK barely moves. You notice I'm still doing my prep frame and whatnot. But if I make sure that I hit that top notch, you can see that it's more consistently getting a decent amount of distance. Now, if we add the Z press to this, and you note that I'm hitting Z the second that I hear the sound of the up press on the top notch. I can't stress that enough. Such an important part of doing this is how you think about it. Okay? The way I was able to get this pretty consistent before was I actually thought about it as a 2-part trick and not a 3-part trick. Where I'd go into C up and I would just think of it as a prep and a flick. And then once I hear the flick, I'm pressing Z and holding it. So I have a few points for you to remember. 3 in particular. So 1, start moving your thumb downwards at the same time you exit C up. 2, maximize the ratio of attempts to the time spent setting up. Because this particular trick needs to be done pretty quickly. It's a little bit harder to do this 3-frame phase walk method when you are using a slower method of coming out of C up. So watch this. So like you see, I'm pressing a little bit slower, flicking a lot slower. You might see me moving, but ultimately it's all very delayed. So except for on that one I actually did perfect. So what I mean by maximizing the ratio of your attempts to time spent is you need to really speed up your C presses and get the timing down. So listen to this. This is the timing that I generally use. Now, those first 2 sounds that you heard, those are the C up presses. The last sound that you heard is the sound of the flick. See? Look at that. And that's all just from thinking about it as a 2-frame trick and making sure that I stick to the technique that I am using. Now, if you want a little bit more of an in-depth explanation of this trick, I'll give it to you right now. Otherwise, you can just skip right past it. On frame 1 of this trick, you will exit first person with C up. On the second frame, you're going to hold down on the stick with a magnitude no greater than 43 to 44% of the distance to the bottom notch. So not all the way to the bottom, just slightly. And then for the third frame, you're going to hold up on the stick with a magnitude greater than 43 to 44%. So beyond the middle magnitude. So either touching the notch or getting close to it. So by forcing yourself to hit that top notch, you are ensuring that you hit that frame. Okay? And then on the 4th frame, you are holding Z. So the stick, again, must be within the 43 to 44% magnitude range. Now I want to thank Ring Rush and the Ballum 96 for really breaking this method down using their emulator software and tassing. Beforehand, I just thought this was still a 4-frame method. But now it makes a lot of sense why it's so easy. Using this method, you can make Phase Walk Aztec early extremely easy. So instead of just holding Z when you press up, you hold Z, and then the second you see DK go even slightly through the wall, with the assumption that you've accelerated properly, you just press B or A, depending on whether you're doing a roll aerial, or just a phase walk long jump. So this pretty much concludes the tutorial. I hope that was helpful for you. And yeah, this is a really easy method of phase walking that I hope to see in future any% attempts and in bingos to come. I hope this was helpful to everyone.